welcome to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him at gods5minutes@gmail.com. Now, here's Ed Wilson with God's 5 Minutes.
Hello, friends. Jeremiah 31:3 reads, "The Lord hath appeared of old unto me, saying, Yea, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. Therefore with loving kindness have I drawn thee." The story behind this remarkable verse is that God, through Abraham, had called a people, whom we still know today as the Jews, to be separate from all others in worship and obedience to Him, the one true God and Creator of the universe, as well as mankind, in His holiness. Over a long time and through many events, they had come at last to a place of almost completely abandoning Him and His ways, and as a consequence, God was about to permit them to be forcibly uprooted from the land He had given them and made captives in Babylon. Yet, despite their backsliding with its inevitable consequence, God sent them into their years of tribulation with a ringing promise of His eternal love. Because the Lord knew this people were guilty of walking with their backs to Him, and because He knew they had had trouble from doing so and were going to have much more, He reached past the ugly years with one simple phrase, "hath appeared to me of old." He reminded them of the love that had brought a covenant, a deliverance from slavery in Egypt, a homeland, prophets and leaders with divine inspiration. His vision and His mercy looked forward to a time when they would be again in their own land, governed by their own, blessed in their home. And He did bring them back to their land, but although they never again adopted the idols of the nations, well, they crystallized around their belief system and made it a matter of religious rites and practices more than of faith and charity. The method God had made available to mankind for finding peace with Him became in their eyes a proprietary dogma based on the accident of birth and exclusive of the world. In due time, according to the plan God had made before the world was formed, He sent to us all the gift of Jesus to expand the avenue of approach whereby those who could come to Him, find absolution and blessing, live lives free from the twin monsters of guilt and shame. The gracious words God spoke through Jeremiah could be the individual comfort of any Israelite who would walk with Him, but through Jesus Christ, the gospel has come to the whole world, and by that means, those same words of hope and reassurance can now be the personal possession of everyone. So look at them again. The Lord hath appeared of old unto me. Isn't that each of our testimony? At the earliest stages of life, we begin to feel the urgings of conscience and the need to believe in something larger than ourselves. So many children today have little lives that are twisted and deformed from abuse and mistreatment, from neglect and cruelty. To a large degree, those things lie in the arenas God has given us to control concerning ourselves and one another. But in a larger spiritual sense, no matter how troubled a child, there is still an arena belonging only to God. Somewhere deep within each of us, there is a sense of conscience, of fair play, an awareness that mistreatment is wrong, and an understanding that no matter how shabbily we have treated ourselves, should not reflect the evil by doing so to others. We, like the Israelites, may feel we have come down a long road to the place where we are today, and that there have been so many failures, so many hurts, so much bitterness and wasted, useless years, there can never again be any hope for life to be like it was meant to be. But that, dear friend, is not so. God's testimony is that with loving kindness have I drawn thee. That doesn't mean that everything has happened to you that is what God wanted it to be. Many times it is not. What it does mean is that He will use what the past has been rather than to make us more remote and bitter, drawn to His great love and mercy. Simply put, that means He will turn what seems to harm us into everlasting joy. Enter into the spirit world with Him, friend. You will find His yoke is easy and His burden is light. And He also is able to lead you to His people where there is peace and hope. It is the Lord's plan to demonstrate to each one of us during our lifetime loving kindness with which He intends us to draw us peacefully at last to His presence. Have you talked to Him today?
You have been listening to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him by email at godsfiveminutes@gmail.com. Tune in next time to hear more encouraging thoughts from God's Word on God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson.